Can you believe that this beautiful body butter bar and this oily puddle are exactly the same formulation made at exactly the same time? I only changed one thing, and as you can see, it is the difference between silky smooth success and sloppy lumpy failure. Today, I'm going to teach you a technique that will enable you to create satiny, uniform, hot poured body butters like the ones sold by Lush and Kate McLeod. And I'll be demonstrating it with one of my all-time favorite formulations, my take on the Lush massage bars. We'll begin by weighing the ingredients for the heated phase. There's just 3, so this won't take long. The first ingredient is where the bulk of the structure and skin feel of the massage bar comes from. This is what makes the bar solid and gives it such lovely, glidey melt. You'll need 74.75 grams cocoa butter. I'm using gorgeous, unrefined cocoa butter from Baraka because I love the smell of chocolate, but you're welcome to use refined cocoa butter instead if the smell of chocolate isn't your jam. Up next, we're boosting the creaminess factor of this bar with 20 grams refined shea butter. You could use unrefined if you like the smell of it, but I wanted to really let the chocolatey cocoa butter shine. And lastly, to soften things up a wee bit, 5 grams jojoba oil. You could use a different liquid oil here instead, and I bet coconut oil would work too. Once we have our heated phase weighed out, we need to heat it. But it is really important that you choose the right thing to heat it in, or you're going to have a bad time later on. I love using these metal bowls for making whipped body butters, and beakers are great for many things, but I don't recommend either for this sort of formulation. You need to use a heavy, heat-resistant glass measuring cup because it will cool down much more slowly than metal or thinner glass, and that'll be important in about half an hour. Melt the butters using a water bath. Place the measuring cup into a pot that has a couple inches of water in it, and then turn the heat to medium-low. We want the water to be steaming hot, but not simmering or boiling. That's hot enough to melt the butters, but not so hot it'll toss the measuring cup around. While the butters melt, I'm going to prepare the cute bee-themed silicone mold I'll be using. I'm sprinkling a different colored mica into the bottom of each cavity. You'll see why later. I'm creating a bit of a rainbow. Once the butters have melted into liquid golden goodness, we are ready to proceed. The key to perfectly smooth butters is proper cooling, and this is where I'm going to show you what proper is. Before you remove the measuring cup from the heat, you'll need an ice bath. So grab a bowl you can fit your measuring cup in and fill it partway with water and ice. The more ice you use, the faster things will move. So if you are new to this technique, start with less. You can always add more ice later. I like to place the ice bath on the end of a dish towel to catch drips. Take the measuring cup out of the hot water bath and place it on the dish towel. Give the mixture a stir with a flexible spatula. This one is my absolute favorite, and you can learn more about it in the free Humblebee and Me encyclopedia in the equipment section. Move the measuring cup to the ice bath and stir, ensuring you are constantly scraping down the sides. The edges of the measuring cup are the coldest part, so make sure no bit of the mixture stays there too long or the butter will cool unevenly. I like to pull the butter out of the ice bath and rest it on the dishcloth to slow things down. Think of the ice bath as the gas pedal. Moving the butter to the dish towel takes your foot off the gas and lets you just coast and catch your breath. This cooling method is called trace. I learned it as part of my Formula Botanica Diploma in Organic Skincare Formulation coursework. I have 2 diplomas from Formula Botanica, and if you would like to try them out, they're offering a completely free 10-part formulating masterclass starting the day this video goes live. There's still time to sign up and create your very own organic face cream with them. So I've linked to the sign up page in the description box below this video. After about 30 seconds in the ice bath, we're going to add our scent. I'm using this coconut milk natural fragrance oil from Brambleberry because it will complement the chocolatey cocoa butter beautifully, but you can definitely choose something else. Add 0.25 grams, nice smelling thing of choice, and keep stirring. We're going to pour one of these bars straight away while the mixture is still completely fluid and hasn't traced at all. And this will be the pink bar. And then we're going to keep cooling in the ice bath. After a bit more cooling, the mixture is still clear, but is starting to support a few wee air bubbles. And I would call this a very light trace. We'll pour the orangey copper bar now. We'll continue stirring and cooling, and you'll notice the mixture is supporting even more bubbles and has thickened slightly. I'd call this a light to medium trace, and we'll pour the green bar now. If you notice semi-solid clumps are starting to form in the mixture, move the measuring cup to the dish towel and stir until the mixture looks uniform again. This can happen if your measuring cup is too thin, if the ice bath is too cold, or if you aren't stirring diligently enough. Continue stirring, and the mixture will start to go hazy as it cools. There's definitely a noticeable trace here, and I would call this a full, obvious trace bordering on heavy. And we'll pour the blue bar now. At this point, things are moving really quickly, partly because there's not much left in the measuring cup. The mixture goes from a full but pourable trace to a, whoops, that's way too far, I guess I'm scooping and stuffing this into the mold level of trace in the time it took me to show the measuring cup to the camera and then reposition the mold to film the pour. Whoops. Well, I have scooped and stuffed that last one as best I can, so now we're going to leave this on the countertop to set up for about an hour. And for reference, my countertop area is about 20 degrees Celsius. It's important to know this final cooling method matters too. Some formulations need a fridge cool, and other formulations will be ruined by one. Experiment and see what happens. And for heaps more information on trace, I have written a completely free blog post all about it. It is linked in the description box below. Alright, so it's been about an hour, so let's see how our massage bars are doing. We'll unmold them in reverse order. The mashed potato one is definitely solid, but it's pretty gnarly looking. That one is definitely going back into the measuring cup for a rebuild. 4 out of 10. Up next, our full trace bar. It is lovely, firm, smooth, feels great on the skin. Hooray! 10 out of 10. The next bar is our light medium trace green bar, and it is another 10 out of 10. Just look at that beautiful bar. This next bar looks not very bar-like. More like soup. Let's poke it with a spatula and yeah, it's all liquidy on top, but a bit of digging reveals a grainy, uneven, lumpy bottom. 0 out of 10. Bummer. Also, this is what will happen if you let these bars melt and then re-solidify on their own, so don't do that. Don't leave them in a hot car or on a heating vent. And lastly, this little dude hasn't even hardened a little. It's pretty much exactly the same consistency it was when it was poured, only colder. 1 out of 10. Points for not going grainy, at least. While a medium level of trace worked for this formulation, remember that different formulations can require different levels of trace, so be sure to experiment. That said, I have yet to find a use for that super thick mashed potatoes level of trace. Thankfully, the failed bars can be reheated, retraced, and turn out perfectly. These beautiful bars are brilliant for massage and can also be used as a solid moisturizer. I recommend storing them in a wee tin so they don't collect lint and start looking all kinds of gross. And that is one trick big companies use to make their body butters, but I think this one is even more important and will rock your formulating world. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!